We've taken this 10 by 10 meter squared bedroom in our house and converted it into a production studio, not only for YouTube videos like this, but for live streaming, TV production work, and client service work. This is how we did it. The space actually has 2 people in it, my fiance and myself. And what we've done is we've divided the room down the center with the Elgato MT green screen on the center of the room. So it actually hangs from the ceiling and we can pull it down. And what we've done here is we've added an Elgato key light air from the ceiling using a multi-mount. This has taken a little bit of effort because ceilings usually are made of drywall. So we've got little blocks in the ceiling and we've mounted it to a block, this and the screen. It gives us the possibility of pulling the green screen down while we are working, so we can either cut each other off or be able to film with the green screen behind us if we so desire and then hide it away. It's like stuck up on the ceiling. This key light air is something that I'm really excited about. Not many people do this, but having a rim light when you are shooting with the green screen is super important. And you want to get rid of shadows and you want to make sure that you have that really juicy rim around your head over here. Which is just like basically an outline of white. Because it's a key light air, it's controlled with the Elgato Stream Deck and connected to all the Elgato lights that we have in our studio. So we can preset it and program it however we'd like. So it's great even when you're live streaming without the green screen and you just have like a really nice rim light around your head, but also especially if you have the green screen there. This light over here, by the way, is the Elgato ring light. We've got 2 of these in our studio, one on Jess's desk for her live streaming, and then one on this side on one of the Elgato weighted bases. This allows us to like move it around the room and use it for shoots like we're doing right now. This video specifically is going to focus on my setup. Jess has got her setup on that side of the studio. If you want to know a little bit more about her setup, just hit her up. I'm going to put a handle on the screen, but I can also make a follow-up video if you'd like. Just let me know in the comments. I have a dual PC setup. With 2 PCs, obviously, that's where the dual comes from. One at the bottom and one at the top. This is my streaming rig. This is an AMD Threadripper, which is on the top. And I put the ultra wide there so that I can see all of my windows when I'm live streaming or producing any kind of content. OBS, I want to see the 4K capture utility. I want to be able to read chat. That's where that all happens over here. And on the top, we have the gaming rig. So this is the main rig that I use to play games. It's a 5950 Ryzen CPU on the top, and then the GPU is an RTX 3090. So we get really incredible performance while we play. And because it's running through the 4K 60 Pro, I can get 240 Hertz while I play and also be able to output that at the best quality gameplay for people that are watching the stream. You want to see the best graphics that you can. On the screen side, because of that, this is a Samsung 240 Hertz monitor, specifically for gaming. This one's actually relatively cheap for a 240 Hertz monitor, but it only supports 1080p. That's fine for me. I usually live stream in 1080p, which is great. And also, I'd rather have frames and resolution. We can have this debate till the cows come home, but that is my preference when I play competitive shooters like Overwatch. That's how I prefer to have it. This top screen that I mentioned earlier is that Samsung famous ultra wide. It's great. It was just a huge mission to mount on the wall because it weighs 15 kilograms. To find a monitor arm from a desk that can support 15 kilograms is next to impossible. Now, the secret to making sure that this small space can be used for so many different things is the configurations that we can get with the lighting and with our camera work. So, as I showed you the green screen earlier, what I've done is I've mounted a Elgato wall mount. This is a bit of a mess, so just letting you know. On the back of the screen, I've actually got 2 of them over here, and there's a 3rd one at the top. This is just the wall mount and a little bit of an attachment so that we can configure a camera back here and then swivel the monitor out of the way. This monitor swivels completely out of line of sight of the camera. So we can film somebody on the green screen behind us with that rim light and have as much space as possible between the green screen and the camera. This cable management is a disaster, and the main reason it is a disaster is that in South Africa, we have brick walls. We don't have dry walls. If this was a dry wall, we probably would be able to run the cables through the wall, but we can't do that here, unfortunately. I really love this multi-mount system that Elgato have developed. And one of the reasons is that the articulation can be at any angle, at any space that you want. So Of course, we've got this orientation over here, but we can orientate it however we'd like, and on the mounted basis, or extend this however we'd like, which gives us so many creative opportunities. And this is my Canon G7X that I shoot back at my for my live stream, and you can see how it's mounted in creative ways. We can put like a hot shoe in the bottom, or cold shoe at the bottom here, so that we can swap it to another mount if we'd like. This top mount is done in a very similar way. We've got the wall mount at the back, and we've got the multi-mount system. This is just one of the ways that the multi-mount system is just like so exciting, is that you can do so many things, you know, that are up to your imagination, right? And I've actually bought quite a fair amount of these. They're never put to waste. We can use them in so many different spaces in and around this area. This desk, if you've watched any of my previous studio tours, has been custom designed. I built this desk out of a metal frame. I got this made specifically to support a massive PC and a bunch of consoles at the same time. One of the reasons I had to custom make it was because I needed to make it as wide as possible, as long as possible, and just to give me more space. Not only do you need space to be able to game, but you need space for different paraphernalia. Paraphernalia, like this Wacom One. This is my drawing tablet. I often do like drawing streams, or I use it for creative work. Love this thing, by the way. It's probably one of the least expensive Wacom, it is the least expensive Wacom screen to date. I think there might have been something that's replaced it, but it's relatively affordable, and it's also a monitor. A lot of other Wacom tablets are literally, you know, stylus pads, and you've got to get used to orientating yourself while you draw and watching the screen at the same time. But for live stream, it's really exciting to have one of these, because it's literally what is on the screen that people are watching, and you're able to have a top-down view with like the Elgato face cam mounted at the top, so people can see the whole thing twice, which is great. I try to get as many devices wirelessly as I can. I loathe cables. So I have the Corsair Virtuosos. They're just busy charging at the moment, but these are completely wireless. I love them. They are really versatile when it comes to gaming headsets. They're comfortable with glasses. I often wear glasses when I stream, but they also have an AUX out. A lot of wireless headsets don't have AUX out for some reason, or at least I think that's a new trend that I'm seeing, which is, I find, quite annoying as somebody who works on a dual PC setup. Sometimes you want to make sure that the audio that you're listening to on one machine is accessible, and usually the best way to do that is through an AUX cable directly into the computer, the one that you're not using as your main machine if you need to like monitor something. Speaking of wireless and other ways, this is my Corsair Sabre RGB Wireless Pro. This is my mouse of choice for a couple of reasons. Firstly, it's wireless, but it's also a mouse that's been developed with FPSs in mind, and as a FPS player, I really appreciate that. It's super lightweight. I'm hit scan DPS. I love a lightweight mouse. And when you plug it in, it supports 2000 hertz. So to give you an idea, what that means is that it's just has a polling rate between the CPU and the mouse at 2000 hertz a second, which means that you just have a little bit of extra edge when you are playing first-person shooters. Your signal is getting sent to the game a little bit faster if it supports it. The one problem I've had is that Windows doesn't seem to really like 2000 hertz, but because it's wireless, I just like unplug it. You might have noticed that on my desk, I've only got one mouse and keyboard and two computers. How am I doing this? Well, this was actually a little bit of stroke of genius. I think a friend kind of suggested this, but underneath the desk, if you come through over here, I don't know if you'll be able to see it, but I have a USB switcher. This is a Green USB 3.0 switcher, and I've plugged every device in here that I will be using across the both PCs at the same time. So as I press this button, it'll hot swap to the next PC. So this is my wireless mouse with that slipstream dongle, plus my keyboard with two USB switches over here, and these two are the two outs that go to each of the separate computers, which is great. And while we're here, let me show you my HDMI switcher. So this HDMI switcher goes into the 4K 60 Pro that is inside my streaming rig, and I've got, as you can see, I've got one output into that and a multiple inputs. So one of these is the PC, one of these is a console like the Xbox Series X, and the other one is like the PlayStation 5. And then I'm able to juggle between each of those inputs that are going, or outputs that are going into the input of the 4K capture card, which means that whatever I am seeing on the main screen is the game that is going into OBS or my game capture. This one specifically supports 240 hertz. And while we're down here, this is the Stream Deck pedal. It's a little bit dirty. Do mind the cables again. Stream Deck pedal is 3 buttons. I actually use this a fair amount. I wasn't certain if I was going to use this a lot, but I found myself, as I play competitive shooters, that having the ability to dynamically switch cameras or zoom in on my face, which is what I do a lot with these, and I usually use them as toggle switches. So you zoom in, you press it once and it zooms into your face, you press it again and then it zooms back out. It means I don't have to leave my mouse and keyboard while I'm in match, but still have an entertaining production. And that's the whole point of being a Twitch streamer or a YouTuber live streamer that is putting on an interesting production. The Stream Deck doesn't start with the pedal though. The Stream Deck is what I have mostly on my desk over here. So I've got 2 Elgato Stream Decks. This is the one that I use for all my presets that I've programmed, and it's my main one for streaming. The second one over here I use for secondary functions. I think I'm gonna put one onto my gaming rig, but this one sorts out the entire ecosystem in this room. And I'll show you how it's done. So if I press, actually step back a bit, let me show you. So currently we've got a setup where it's all like teal and orange. That's kind of like the light configuration. But if I press the blue button, the whole setup will change to blue, which is super nifty. And then if I change it to orange, the whole setup changes to orange, which is very cool for shooting videos like this because it allows me to hot swap the background and change it for what's appropriate, right? For either TikTok or YouTube, or I can, it's the equivalent of having your set change their clothes versus like me just changing the set dressing, if that makes sense. For microphone, I'm using the Elgato Wave 3. We've got a sound treated room. I'm using the Elgato sound panels, and this is mounted on a Elgato mic arm. I like it because it usually just fits just under that screen. I don't know. I think I've tilted this a little bit forward, but there we go. Oh, damn. Gotta sort that out. So it gives me a whole bunch of opportunities to like move it in and around my desk as wide or as I need to. This is an incredible microphone. I haven't looked back. I've had a Rode USB NT. I've used a bunch of different condenser streaming mics, USB ones. And I love the fact that the whole ecosystem just looks nice together. But different productions call for different types of sound. Right now we're using the Rode Wireless Goes, and that's because I'm roaming around and talking. We are running them through the RODEcaster Pro 2 over here on the desk, and this is where the receiver is. We're just kind of like hiding it underneath there, and this is coming through this channel over here. So if I turn this channel up, I should go louder, and then if I turn it down. So there we go. That's much better when you turn it up. But it gives me a lot of control over the audio. This is great for when we are roaming or shooting or just quickly running and gunning. And the Rode Wireless Goes plug into a phone. So we are able to like even do TikToks straight up onto the phone. So the range of versatility and functionality is just high. There's not many products that can do that. But sometimes you need a boom arm. You need a proper shotgun microphone, and that's hard to get on a setup like this. So what we do is we go back to this part of the setup behind the screen, either up here, we'll mount the shotgun microphone over here, or over here at the back so that we are as close to the subject as possible. And because the Elgato multi-mount system is articulating and we can choose where we want it, we can literally articulate it directly at the subject's face, which is what you want to do when you have a boom arm. And the last bit of functionality is this custom built-in cupboard. This is a narrower built-in cupboard than your average one. We've had to make it, I think, 480 mils so that we could accommodate the green screen on the ceiling. But this whole cupboard is designed so that we can get some extra floor space, get some extra green screen room, but also maximize our storage potential. In this door over here, we've got all our tripods and all our camera gear that can take a knock, which is great. I've got some products in here that this is the product cupboard. I can't show you. There's some embargoed stuff that we're busy working on. Our top drawer is our camera drawer. So this is the stuff we use on a daily basis. Lenses, sound gear, microphones. While we're here, let me just have a quick chat about the cameras that we're using. We're using the Canon R5C. We've done a whole video on it on the channel, so go check that out. That's the one that you're watching through now. It is, in my opinion, the best content creator camera that's been introduced to the market, and I think it's going to lead the way for a lot of cameras. We've got a lot of Canon stuff. Big Canon fan. I've got the Canon G5X. This is usually like a run and gun camera. It's taken a bit of beating. This is one of my older ones. This is my second one. I had one stolen in Germany while vlogging, and then I went and bought a new one. But I wouldn't recommend the G5X anymore. Maybe if you can get it off a really good price secondhand. The main camera that we use for a lot of our other work is the Canon G7X, which we've got mounted over there. And the reason is that it's got a clean HDMI output, so it's going into a cam link that's installed onto the streaming PC. So the signal that you get when you see my face is the best. It shoots in 4K. It's got a microphone input. It is one of the most versatile, diverse cameras that you can get. It can be powered by USB-C with a power PD 3.0, power delivery 3.0. So we mount it there for that particular purpose. And for its price point, what you can do with it, it's probably one of the best cameras that you can buy. And I highly recommend anybody that's getting into photography or wants to do a wider range of content creation steps into the G7X. And I'm going to be doing a video on it soon because I think it's important that we speak about it, because I did a video recently for Elgato and on their channel, and I included the Mark II. So this is, the Mark III. This is the Mark III G7X. And people said it wasn't compatible because it doesn't have a clean HDMI. But that's the Mark II. The Mark III does. There's a lot of misconception around that camera, and I wanted to spell it. Right, it's back to these drawers. This drawer is a mess. This is cables. We've got to sort this out, but auto cues for scripted content, flashes for photography, any camera accessories that we can use. And in our bottom drawer, this is our charging drawer. I'm quite proud of this. So this drawer is literally designed with this multi-plug at the back, and it charges all our gear, all our camera batteries, all our, this is one of our dollies. This is the SlidePod Pro. And now off to the Elgato Shrine. I like the altar of Elgato. So I've been a massive fan of Elgato stuff for a very long time. In fact, I do a lot of work with Elgato, for those of you who watch the channel a lot, so you might have seen some of my videos on their main channel. And it's an absolute privilege to be able to work with a brand that you really admire. And I think anybody that's worked in the gaming space, gaming content creation space for the last 10 years-ish would have a really warm spot for Elgato in their hearts. So a lot of the gear that I have owned, or some of the gear that I've done R&D work on, like some of these wave mics, I've got them up here as a reminder every day about how cool my job is. And this was gear that I would, hustle really hard to get. In South Africa, we didn't have Elgato gear here. I'd go on missions when I had press tours overseas, and I'd go like on missions to London and get it shipped to a friend's house so that I can collect the gear. That's how much I did that in the States, and I did that in the UK. And that's how hard it was to get it in South Africa. So just a reminder of that. Got the Xbox Series X, the PlayStation 5, and then obviously the Nintendo Switch underneath. And again, all of these are running through that HDMI switcher. So whatever's on the screen will come through. Two other things that are important in the space and add a lot of value. Firstly is the Samsung wind-free Aircon. We did a brand deal with Samsung for that air conditioner, and there's a couple of reasons why it's so important. Firstly, this room gets very hot. If you've been in any studio, you'll know that the PCs are generating a ton of heat. And when you're trying to work and trying to do anything, it's very, very hot. So what this Aircon does is it has a wind-free mode. I'll put it in that wind-free mode now. And it's next to silent while it's working. And it just kind of like pours cold air into the room. And because it's a 10 by 10 meter room, there we go. I mean, can you even hear that? It's on now. It's blowing cold air on me, and you cannot hear that. And there's somebody that's in a production room, or if you've got a baby or whatever, that you don't want them to wake up, this is an incredible purchase. It's also smart and Wi-Fi connected. So I've got the Xiaomi This is the Xiaomi smart speaker with an IR blaster built into it. Some of the devices in this room have infrared, and they are not smart devices, and this controls it. But it's really nice to be able to communicate with the smart speaker while you are either live streaming, make it a gimmick, or be able to control different parts of the room. So let me see if I can control the aircon right now. Okay, Google, set the aircon in the studio to 16 degrees Celsius.
Setting the studio air conditioner to 16 degrees.
So that's great. It's, okay, Google, turn off the studio aircon.
Turning the studio air conditioner off.
It's very, very nifty. And the last thing that I want to bring up is that we have a little server at the back over here. So this, it's behind, we've hidden it behind the Xbox, but it's called a Synology drive. Synology make some of the most affordable drives. This is the DS920. I've got a video on my channel about it and how we use it in the studio, but I'm very grateful. It's one of those purchases you don't want to make, but it's one that you never regret having. And I do need to get some more hard drives, so we are running out of hard drive space. But as content creators, being able to dump our footage and use our footage later, or reference that footage, or send off to a client with a drive with your name on it, instead of like a Google link or a WeTransfer link, is just like that much more professional. That's it for the studio tour. If you want to see a sneak peek of Jess's setup, that was it, I guess. And just let me know if you want to see a full tour of that on my channel. I'll be able to do that for you. Secondly, I really would like to thank Jiminy Blob on Twitter. I'll put his name over here. He helped out with a lot of the cable management that you see. And if you've got any cable management questions or studio related questions when it comes to neatness, like he is the person to speak to, like OCD about cables. And I mean, it shows. If you've got any